welcome to Morning Coffee. It's your girl Tammy coming at you on this Monday, the beginning of a new week with an encouraging word. I hope that all of you had a fabulous weekend. Hope you had some time to get some rest and spend some time with your families. On today, I'm going to be starting a new topic, and today we're going to be talking about how to develop good habits. Now, I know that a lot of us have a lot of goals as we were entering into 2023, and we may have had some goals, maybe to lose weight, or maybe to write a book, or maybe to get another job, or start an exercise program, or anything like that. There's numerous things that maybe you have wanted to start but can't seem to be consistent in them. Like, we might work out for a week, and then after that we kind of give up, we kind of fall off the wagon. Or maybe we say we're going to eat better, and we start off good, maybe even for the first 21 to 30 days we do good, and then we fall off the wagon, and so on and so on. So I want to just go through and encourage you that we can develop godly habits. We can see that change that we want by making little adjustments and little changes in our day-to-day behavior. So I just want to give you some tips with that, because I deal with that too. I deal with not being as consistent maybe as I want to be in certain areas, and so I hope that these tips help you as they have helped me. The first thing, we're going to look at a few scriptures here, but the first thing first tip I want to tell you is to make sure that whatever that goal is, make sure that it's something that's of God. Make sure that it's something that you're even supposed to be doing, or something that you can find in His Word to line it up so that you can have some scriptures to stand on, especially in those days when you get weary and you get weak and you need something to stand on, so you can always go back to the Word, or go back to something maybe the Lord has told you to stand on. Secondly, if you don't know, or maybe you don't have any goals but you want to develop some, the first thing you're going to want to do is seek the Lord. There are a lot of good ideas out there, but we don't want just good ideas. We want God ideas. And so the first passage I want to look at comes out of 1 Kings 22, verse 5. Now, here you have, there was no war between Aram and Israel, and they're going down, and the king of Israel says to his officials, are we not doing anything to, retake this land from the king of Aram? So that's kind of a very, very shortened backdrop. But he goes, and it starts in number 4. Actually, I'll start there. It says, so he asked Jehoshaphat, will you go with me to fight against Ramoth Gilead? Jehoshaphat replied to the king of Israel, I am as you are, my people as your people, my horses as your horses. But Jehoshaphat also said to the king of Israel, first seek the counsel of the Lord. So before you even start to venture out and try to do some goals, or make some goals, or go with your plans, you want to make sure that you're first seeking the counsel of the Lord. First, go to the Lord and say, okay, is it your will that we retake this land back? That's something that we have on our hearts, Lord, but is it your will? And if so, how do you want us to go about doing that? So I think that's the first tip. Tip number 1 is, if you want to know or want to develop those goals, before you develop them, seek godly counsel. Seek the counsel of God to say, okay, God, these are my plans. I'm laying them at your feet. Are these okay? Are these plans okay for me to pursue? Or do you have some better plans for me? Because a lot of times God's plans are so much higher than our plans. And instead of us just settling for our little plans, we can seek God's counsel first and actually get a better plan than the plan that we even came up with. So that's tip number 1. And then the second one is, once we get those goals down, we say, okay, Lord, this is what you want me to do. I've written down my goals, or I've made my goal board, or however you go about doing it. Then you're going to say, what do you want me to do next? Where are you leading me? So I want to look at Isaiah 30, verse 21. Isaiah chapter 30, verse 21. And it says, whether you turn to the right or to the left, your ears will hear a voice behind you saying, this is the way, walk in it. So after we have made those goals, we've set our board up, we're ready to get started, we want to get our instructions. How am I going to do this? I have the actual goal. Now I need to come up with a plan. How am I going to cause this goal to come to pass? How am I going to make this habit a permanent habit so that I can see lasting results? So then we're going to get our instructions. And as we're listening, it says here, you're going to hear that voice and it's going to say, this is the way. This is the way I want you to do it. And then we just walk right into that. Another tip that I want to say is take one thing at a time. Sometimes we get a little zealous and we have like 50 million things that we want to do. Like, I want to write a book. I want to lose 10 pounds. I want to eat better. I want to, come up with an exercise regimen. I want to find another job. I want to, and we have maybe like 20 goals that we want to do. And sometimes that can be overwhelming when you are trying to do 1,000 things all at once, or when you're trying to make too many changes all at one time. You will often fail because the body just doesn't like that much change. And when you're trying to do drastic changes, it doesn't always work as well, and you lose that momentum, and you seem to kind of fall by the wayside or fall off the wagon, and some of those goals go to the wayside. So I just wanted, that's another tip number 3. Take baby steps. Do one thing at a time. Try one habit at a time so that you're not overwhelming yourself mentally or physically or emotionally, but you can actually develop one habit and get it solid before you go to the next habit. So let's say, for instance, you are trying to make a habit of eating better so that you can have a healthy weight and just have a healthier you. So you might not on the first day say, okay, well, I'm not eating no sweets at all. I'm eating no carbs at all. I'm going to exercise 5 days a week. No, don't do that, because you will quickly burn out, and that will not be sustainable. A more sustainable way might be, okay, this week I'm going to increase my water intake. So that's one focus. This week, it doesn't matter if I ate 10 ho-hos or if I had fast food. If I increase my water intake all this week, I've met my goal. I'm developing a habit of getting my water intake in. And then after that second or third week, you might say, okay, I'm going to decrease the amount of coffee I have. Maybe I have 3 cups of coffee a day, and I'm going to go down to 1 cup instead. So not only do you have this water down, but now you're coming off of the coffee slowly. So you're developing that another habit on top of the habit that you've kind of solidified. The researchers say that it takes about 21 days to develop a habit, or to make something that you're doing, an activity, a habit. So after about 21 days, you're going to have a good habit developed. And then as you stack those habits on top of each other, and each of them are developed, then it becomes a change of lifestyle. So then it'll become second nature. You won't even have to think about it. You won't have to think about, okay, well, did I have my water today? I'm really struggling to still have that 1 cup of coffee. No, because you have now developed in each of those habits to now you have created a new lifestyle. So that's just one example of how you just want to take it in baby steps. You don't want to overwhelm yourself and then be disappointed when you don't get to the goal when you want to get there. Slow and steady is going to win that race. You want to develop each habit so that it can then become a change of lifestyle. Lastly, I just want to say, do it in the Lord's strength and not in your own. So I want to look in Isaiah 40 and verse 31. Isaiah chapter 40, verse 31. It says, But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint. Now I want to actually back up a couple of verses to verse 29. It says, He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Even youths grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall. But those who hope in the Lord, they're going to renew their strength. So I want you to know that even when you start to develop these new godly habits or these good habits, you're going to want to do it in the strength of the Lord, not in your own strength, not just by simple willpower, but you want to actually have the Lord involved, have the Holy Spirit involved. Allow Him to be your strength. Allow Him to give you that power so that you won't get faint, because the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak, the Bible says. So we have a lot of good intentions, and we have a lot of habits that we would love to develop, but a lot of times when we just do them on our own strength, we become very weak. Our flesh is very weak. So my last tip for you today is to do it in the strength of the Lord, not in your own strength, but do it by the Spirit of the Lord. So I hope that some of those tips help you. On Wednesday, we're just going to continue down the journey with a few more tips in developing some godly and some good habits so that we can have just a new lifestyle, and that we can see the manifestations of those things that we want changed in our lives. So I hope that encourages you today. Definitely, again, if you have any topics or questions that you want to discuss, or books in the Bible that you want to just delve into a little bit further, please remember to put those in the comments below so that we can definitely go through those together and deepen our faith in God together. So be blessed today, and I'll see you on Wednesday.